Okay, so today we obviously talk about generational trauma through womb healing. What does it look like, right? So today we will be cover about epigenetic, like how generational trauma gets stored in the womb, how emotional block, the effect of fertilities and conceptions. There will be a journal prompt. In that slides, I would love you guys to take a screenshot or just like quickly write it down because those are great questions to ask yourself. No matter you're trying to um, conceive at this point or in the future, the sooner you do the work, the better it is if you're planning to have babies down the road. And also, we are going to talk about the how to heal the womb and break the family cycle. I'm going to share a client story, and then also a conclusion of embracing the healing and fertility. So, I'm Regard Tang. I am an energy healer and a channeler specialized in emotional and generational trauma healing. And Universe basically asked me to heal my family relationships. And they were like, okay, you've been trying to get out from your family because I came to the state from Hong Kong when I was 11 to 12 without my parents. And I basically trying to escape from them. And I'm like, well, we have a relationship, but we don't have to be close, right? But anyway, so I went back home. I healed the relationship with them. And fast forward, I didn't know that now is what I do. I help my client with their family dynamic and help them to understand the generational trauma and how it manifests the emotional trauma. So before we start, I'm just curious, is um, anyone or everyone is trying to conceive soon or in the future? Just like raise your hand. Okay, perfect. If someone can help me to go through the list really quick.
Crying in the bathroom after yet another negative test, wondering if your body is broken, timing sex down to the minute but losing all the passion, feeling like your whole life is on hold until you get pregnant, worrying that you'll let your partner and family down, feeling jealous every time a friend or someone you follow on social announces they're pregnant, secretly wondering if you're being punished for something in your past, holding your breath every time you walk past the baby aisle at Target, feeling disconnected from your body, like you've lost trust in yourself, wondering if you're meant to be a mother or it's just not in the cards for you, experiencing a miscarriage or abortion because the timing wasn't right, going through multiple unsuccessful IVF attempts with no positive outcome.
Is thank you, Bianca. Is anyone or everyone is kind of resonate with this? So I just want to let you guys know that you guys are not alone. Um, a lot of women out there is going through the similar pain as you are going through. So the next slide, we'll be talking about the womb space and an energetic center where emotions and belief and ancestral patterns are stored. So the womb is more than a physical organ, as we all know. It is an energetic blueprint holding the emotions and experience of our ancestors. Um, I'm going to share the client story in a bit. It's just talking about that how energetic um, store into the body and pass down from one generations to another. Emotional imprints from past generations influence fertility, pregnancy, and our abilities to connect with our body is a form of epigenetic. In a bit, I will talk about what is epigenetic means. Is anyone have an idea what is epigenetic means or no? Okay, cool. Cool. Some yes, some no. Okay, good. Um, and of course, that the power of consciousness healing to transform this pattern is very possible because a lot of people that they came to me, they're like, I try everything. It doesn't work. I'm like, babe, you haven't tried everything yet. Because there's a lot of modality. It worked for some, it doesn't work for the others. So as long as you're able to dig deep and understanding there's hope out there, you can transform. And this is one thing that I actually learned recently. The chakra is actually near to our womb. When you're able to release and realign with pleasure, sexuality, creativity, divine feminine energy, and the healthy emotions, when you're working in that area, it's like a lot of magic can release whatever is trapped in there. So I will talk a little bit about what is feminine energy in a bit as well. Okay, so what is epigenetic? Okay. So I need another volunteer to help me to read the first part of it. Can anyone help me out? Okay, Sarah, can you help me out on this, please?
Of course.
Thank you.
What is epigenetic? Epigenetics is the study of how environmental factors such as stress, trauma, and nutrition can influence gene expression without changing the DNA sequence. These changes can be passed down through generations, affecting physical health, emotional patterns, and even fertility. Epigenetic imprints can be reversed through healing practices, helping to release inherited trauma and restore balance in the body.
Thank you. Thank you for helping me on this. So basically, epigenetic is not same as DNA. So genetic, we all know that like, okay, I am Chinese, I'm full Chinese, my both parents full Chinese, I have black hair, brown eyes. That is genetic. But however, epigenetic is actually more is how the environment can trigger us if our mother have chronic depressions. However, if she works really, really hard to overcome the depressions, and from the death side, and also able to work on it, having a healthy home, the kids won't have the depressions. However, if there's certain things to trigger the baby, it can trigger the depressions. That is just one of the many epigenetic means, okay? So the nervous system deregulations. Inherited stress, trauma can keep the body in a fight or flight mode, make it hard to feel safe. That is very typical, especially nowadays that we all in a survival mode. How can we get into like the next thing? And then how are we able to make more money? Those are all like fight or flight mode. So we just have to understand it and regulate your own system. It will help you to be more calm that way. So, and then reproductive health and fertility. Trauma passed down can disrupt the hormone cycle and ability to conceive. Um, I will talk more about it, how it's the generational trauma that it will affect us. If we don't feel worthy in a bit, we'll talk about it. If we don't feel worthy about it, that will impact us to conceive. Emotional patterns and belief. Deep fear, anxiety, self-doubt might stem from the past generations, not just personal experience. I came in time after time seeing a lot of my clients say like, oh yeah, I'm very anxious because that they see their mother growing up seeing the mother is very anxious is actually have a huge impact for the kid. A lot of time that is knowingly, unknowingly, right? And of course, the physical symptoms is the chronic pain. We talk about the PMDD, the is it called endometriosis? I can't pronounce that word.
You're good. Yeah, endometriosis.
Thank you. I'm never able to pronounce that word. Like I was like, that word is just not for Chinese, period. And then the autoimmune issues. So I actually did some research on this. I realized that women is actually have more autoimmune issues compared to men. I don't exactly remember what was the percentage. It's either like one man versus four women or one man versus three women. So we actually do hold on a lot of shame, guilt, um, different kind of trauma in our body compared to men. I'm not saying men don't have it, But men, that because that they are more in their masculine energy, they're like, I'm just going to push through. I'm just going to push through. I'm not going to feel my emotions. Versus women, some of us, we try not to feel our emotions, but we are emotions species. We just have to feel it. That's how it is. So yeah, the autoimmune issues or fatigue might link to the inherited trauma. And of course, the womb and ancestral energy, the womb holds imprint of loss, grief, suppressed feminine energy, affects self-worth and body connection. I want to take a moment to talk about feminine and masculine energy. Does everyone understand what is like feminine energy and masculine energy means, or not? Okay, so we have like in general that we have an idea. So masculine energy basically is like, what can I achieve? What am I able to create? What am I going to do more? In this society, even though we as a woman, we much I see it too many female that we got overtaken from masculine energy because of how society run. It's not for us. We meant to receive, we meant to nurture, we meant to create, we meant to step into our sexuality. It took me, well, now is the second year, I believe, to understand what is feminine energy means. Because for the longest time, I was in my masculine energy because I left my parents when I was like 11, turning 12. I have to like push through everything. I was fight or flight. I have to survival. Those are all masculine energy. I wasn't in touch with myself. I drink a lot. I joke about that. I used to be an alcoholic that never go to AA. So I drink quite a lot, and I got very disconnected to the point that my body basically sent me signal and like you can't do it. Like you cannot do this anymore. So the next slides, we are going to talk about how generational trauma gets stored in our womb. This is very interesting because we never thought of how much family programming and pattern is affecting us. So many belief about worth, womanhood, and motherhood are passed down unconsciously. Does everyone understand or like have some sort of concept of like how is like family dynamic or family programming is affecting us as a woman, as an adult? Is everyone like understand this part? Cool. Awesome. So of course, fear of motherhood, this is like a subconscious block. Most of you, I would say most of us understand then what is conscious and subconscious mean. Conscious is on your daily life is running 5% to 10%, and then the rest is subconscious. And if you believe that you are not worthy to conceive or receiving as a woman, you are having a hard time to be like, I love, I had a client. She was like, yeah, I talk to myself about like word of affirmations every single day. I'm like, okay, so let me explain a little bit. Word of affirmations will work when you start working your inner self. Means that word of affirmations is like the flower, you plant it in front of your house. But while your house is start leaking, your wall is like the brick is start falling down, and the plumbing is not working, the kitchen is like there's like roaches or whatever. You're I love Erica like reaction. Your word of affirmations is not going to work, period. I understand a lot of like guru or like coaches out there is like, yeah, you just have to push through it. Your work of affirmation is going to work. I'm like, no, you have to work on your inner self first. That is your subconscious mind. Then your conscious mind, it will work outwardly. So of course that your mother side of the lineage is experience hardship or neglect, suppressions, and the womb might hold resistant to the conceptions. It's just get down to the unworthiness, or a lot of us experience neglect. When you're neglect, you're like, okay, I am not worthy to receive this. Then your subconscious, there will be a blockage right there. And of course, that we just talk about the deep unworthiness. Feeling not enough can create energetic blockage, make it difficult to receive a new life. I want to take a moment to talk about worthiness, because a lot of people understand the word, but like they don't really understand what does that means. We, as a soul coming to Earth School, we all have different challenges, but the main core of the challenge is worthiness. How are we receiving? No one come in not having any trauma and in their like happy life forever. There might be some people. I haven't seen any. And a lot of time we will judge ourselves before letting anyone to judge us. That part of it is as simple as we are not enough. So take a moment to think about that. And this is like a really good reflection for all of us to think about it, because I'm still working on my self-worth. I'm getting better, but I'm still have a lot of work to do on that sense. And of course, that the emotional disconnection. Trauma often leads to numbing, which blocks intuitive connections with the body naturally rhythm for your fertility cycle. Have anyone experiencing numbing in their life in different form or different period of time? Like if it's yes, then kind of no. Yeah, some people. Yep. So as I said earlier, when I was a makeup artist, I numbed myself. I use alcohol to numb myself. I just go out and party all the time. It was part of the numbing. And that's the reason why my body is like showing up and tell me like, dude, you have to stop. One of my best friends, I just recently saw her in San Francisco. I didn't see how much she numbed herself. She's extremely disconnected to the point that her body is showing up, different part of her body is sending her signal. And we were having lunch and she was like having like a small dumpling. And like she was just like, when she would eat it, like her tooth crack. And she needs to extract it. And she was like, well, I think I grind my teeth in the middle of the night. And then I tap into her energetic field. I was like, oh, it's not what you guessed. It is. Because that you're so stressed and you've been numbing for so long, your body is sending you a signal, but you just don't listen. So that is just one of the story of numbing. And emotional blocks, fertility and the conceptions. So I talked about earlier, we all in a survival mode, one way or the other. But now when we are able to tap into our womb space and understanding, that will give us a little bit more awareness, so we can change it from the survival mode to be a neutral or a thriving mode in the future. So when the nervous system is stuck in a chronic stress from inherited trauma, the body just is like, it's not going to work. Like, no, like your body basically is telling you like, no, I'm in stress. I can't do it, right? And unprocessed grief and ancestral burdens, unhealed pain from the past generations can create unconscious fear around carrying a child. This one, it can relate to some of my clients in the past that they either had miscarriage or abortion, because when the timing wasn't right, or miscarriage, that like their body is just basically like cannot hold on to the new life, they have a lot of grief around it. And if you know anyone going through this or yourself, I really want to invite you to take as much time as possible to process through this. It's just because that if your body is holding on that kind of fear, it is really hard for you or someone you know to carry a child. Of course, self-sabotage and unconscious it just related to like our lineage carry wounds around motherhood, and you might unknowingly resist pregnancy. I actually tap into one of my clients' energetic field. I think her great, let me see, her great grandmother or grandmother. Sorry, I'm like sometimes I lost in a lot of stories because I gave too many readings. Um, anyway, so she basically is miscarried. And but then back in the days that they don't really talk about it. And it's like one generation passed down to another generations. And the mom, even though the mom there's has a lot of like resistance, even though like they like of course they have my clients, but still like there's like oh, am I worthy to have that? And there's a lot of resentment toward herself, and that can create the resistance of pregnancy as well. And of course, we talk about the feminine energy and the masculine energy. I cannot sweat enough to not talk about this topic. It's just because I'm like, we are not, we all have masculine and feminine, but we are not meant to consistently in our in our masculine energy while that we are female. So yeah. This is the slide. I would love you guys to take a screenshot of it, because this is the one with all the juicy questions that you can take your time to reflect. I highly recommend you guys to do journal about it. And I want to make sure is everyone got a chance to screenshot it. Thumbs up? Yep. Cool. Awesome. Cool. So healing the womb is breaking the cycle. I was just looking at the time. Channeling ancestral wisdom and their story, it will change your life, period. Why so? Because I'm able to tap into my clients without my clients telling me too much of the story. I'm able to tap in to understanding my clients and the mother's relationship, my clients with the father's relationship, the mom and the dad relationship, and also the mother with the parents, the dad with the parents. Sometimes I can go into the great parents generations as well. The most I did was 7 generations deep. Not many people knows that 3 generations up and 3 generations down is actually is most impacting us. So when you're able to understand those story, our body will be able to soften. Our mind will be like, oh, actually, those are not my shit. They are my families, like, or they are like my grandmother, for instance. So in that sense, it will help you to understand. And really quick, I want to talk about my work and difference with therapist work. Therapist work is they gather the information so you give it to them. We, as an adult, we only remember certain memories. And when we were surviving in the childhood, majority of the memory we do not remember because we suppressed it. So therapists able to gather whatever informations you give it to them, and they help you to process. But for me, I'm helping you to understand the subconscious mind, or like I call it behind the scene, that you don't even remember or you don't even know. So I love working with people. They already have therapists, and multiple therapists have referral their clients to me if they are into like a woo-woo or spiritual things, because that they don't want to carry those blockages anymore. So I want to separate that a little bit because a lot of people ask me like, what is the difference between you and therapists? I was like, I don't help people to process their emotions, but I help my clients to gather informations and gather their emotions so they can process it with their therapists. So that is a little separations right there. And of course, the womb meditations and visualization is able to help you. And of course, when you're going in your meditation state, I think Erica did talk about to give your womb a name, right? Is it correct?
Yes, I always invite my clients to give their womb a voice.
Oh, a voice. There you go. Yeah. So a voice, a name will be great because that sometimes you're like, oh, I don't want to talk to my body. That is so weird. But it's like, okay, look, Susan, I need to talk to you. You do that like in like a humor way. So it's not like too serious. It actually will help you to release a lot of energy. And of course, um, I cannot rave enough about Erica's work. Womb massages is amazing. I took her class a couple of weeks ago. I've been doing my womb massage whenever I could before I go to bed. I feel like is it there's like big aha just yet? It's 2 weeks. Come on, let's be real. There's magic in it, but it's not like overnight. But it just really helped me to tap into my body and understanding what I need. And that's why I talk about the sacral chakra is great. So shamanic practice, breath work, movement, dancing, walking, when you are intentional to understand your body is a game changer. And of course, emotional processing. I talk about therapy. I love therapy. I was in therapy for 6, 7 years. This year I stopped because I'm at a very good state, but I didn't stop my healing journey on my own. I use other modality to go after, but just talk therapy, it doesn't really work for me anymore. And journaling, of course, that it will uncover a lot of subconscious fear. That's why I invite you earlier to have a screenshot so you can journal whenever that you can. Really quick, I want to look at time. Okay, we have time. So a client story to share with you guys. This client came to me before I actually knowing to help women to conceive and also help women with motherhood. This is how universe works. So she came to me and she's like, well, I'm struggling and I don't know why that I cannot, I just have this block and I cannot like my period wasn't like on time and I feel like I just not able to conceive and there's a lot of negative self-talk and yada yada yada. At 34 is a actually really young age of not able to have like not able to conceive. It's just because there's a lot of underlying issue, not medically, energetically, and emotionally. So through our sessions, we uncovered that her ancestors, like her grandmother, had experienced on the sexual trauma at a young age that never acknowledged or healed. There are a few clients came to me and I was able to tap into their sex life. I don't want to sound creepy, but it's just one of my power. I'm able to help my clients to walk through how are they able to have a better sex. And there were a couple clients in the past, they were like, I just don't enjoy sex. I don't want to be touched, but I have with my partner, we're trying to like have better sex, yada, yada, yada. When I'm tapping into it, a lot of it is from the sexual trauma, not even from them, because that is the womb space is passed down one generation to another. So, and yeah, of course that the grandmother never healed, and this was like an unspoken pain that is carrying down. It creates the subconscious fear and the unsafe, like around the safety, intimacy, and motherhood. And of course, intimacy and sex, it's kind of like hand in hand, right? So after our healing sessions and deep work, she was like, I need to push through this. I need to do this. Like I take this like healing work very seriously. I love her because every time when I give her homework and doing all the sessions, every single sessions, there will be homework for my clients to take home to do it. There's no one size fit all because every single one went through different trauma. They have different story, they have different background. But when I'm talking to their spirit guides, I'm like, okay, because you still have resentment toward your mom, or you still want the love from your dad. So I'm able to download exact homework. I call it homework or assignment. They go home and do it. I would say majority of my clients, whoever willing to do the homework, 90% of my clients, they will feel the change. They are able to feel the release. And so yeah, so after she worked on it, her body was softened and then reclaimed the connections with the pleasure. So she was having better sex. And within a year, she conceived naturally. So it was like, amazing. Okay, so we are going into the conclusion. So healing the womb is healing the self. This is not just about the fertility, but about reclaiming your feminine energy, your power, and balancing your masculine and your feminine. I talk like this, like I feel like I'm a broken record, but it's just not enough people understand what does that means. But yeah, no, it's not only healing your womb or your like, oh, I just want to have babies. When you keep thinking that I just want to have babies, they're an agenda. Agenda doesn't serve you sometimes, period. Okay. So by healing, you create a new energetic foundations for yourself and your generations. And I talk about that. There's 3 generations up, 3 generations down. If you don't put work or time and energy to heal your trauma, you're basically passing down from one generation to another generations. And I really don't want to see the world is getting worse. And of course, trust your body, honor your lineage. And I told my client when clients work with me, after we collect the puzzles, I want people to have compassion with their parents and the grandparents. They did what they can do. Not everyone have the awareness, and now that we are in an era having a bigger awareness, which I'm very grateful about. And of course, when you do that, then the healing is possible, and the trauma doesn't like you can stop the trauma. And thank you. This is me. um,
Yay.
yeah. Yeah, so my website is on it. If you haven't got a chance to follow me on regarding energy, I would love to invite you to join me on my community. And of course, I offer a 20 minutes complimentary Zoom consultations if you have any questions or like, oh, now I understand, but what is your actual magic? So we can talk one-on-one in that sense. So yeah, thank you and have a great night.